So hi everyone, my name is Jayani, but I go by Jay. And I just have a quick question. You guys don't have to raise your hands. How many of you know someone or are circumcised? And do you know the reason why you were circumcised? Circumcision has gone back past written history. It's currently dated at 2400 BCE. Dr. Peter Alderton from the University of London states that male circumcision is associated with religion. It's widely practiced between the Jewish religion and Muslims, having 70% of Muslims having their males circumcised. It's also used as a rite of passage, so going from a boy to a man. But more recently, it's been moving away from religion and is associated with health as well as social or societal problems. So what I'm going to be discussing is how male circumcision has a negative effect on males who are circumcised, and the reasons for that is because circumcision can cause health issues who receive the procedure, as well as a negative effect on their sexual relationships. So Dr. Ronald Goldman, who is a sociological researcher, as well as the executive director of Circumcision Center and Resource Center in Boston, he states that because of the circumcision, which is 33 to 50% of the skin being removed, it causes the removal of the tissue causes a reduction in specialized nerves that give you sensory. He also talks about how men they are more likely to develop erectile dysfunction, organism difficulties, and premature ejaculation. And in some cases, when circumcised, it can cause shock, and in some rare cases, it can cause death. Now, when it comes to sexual relationships, there was a study in 2006 at the Seoul National University on 373 men, and 255 of them were circumcised. 118 were not. And of the 255, 138 had been sexually active before they were circumcised. And that the circumcision happened after the age of 20. So in that article, 20% of the males reported a worse sex life after circumcision because of the lack of sensory nerves, as well. 21 out of 28 cited less enjoyable sex. When it came to masturbation, 63% reported that it was more difficult, and when it came to masturbation pleasure, there was a decrease by 48% because of the decreased sensation. So, although circumcision has some health benefits, like you're not cleaning as much, and so with that, with the health issues that can come from the procedure, as well as the lack of sensation and sexual pleasure, it is seen as a negative effect for males who get circumcised after the age of 20.
All right, the general questions are okay in the background, but I think there are probably more effective ways to get to the topic. The proposition is identified, although at the beginning you preface it with a question. How? Let's skip the question. Let's just make the claim and say this is in fact the result that is going to happen here. It's just a phraseology thing. I know sometimes people don't want to sound like they're arguing, but that's exactly what we're asking you to do. So trying to make it sound like it's an informative speech is not the right way to go. The contents are previewed, although I think that you need to make those points a little bit more distinct. And in the body of the speech, they're not distinct at all. I thought that was a bit problematic. You do kind of explain some of the basics of the data that you're presenting. I thought that you were pretty consistent about citing sources. There was some information that I thought was a little ambiguous. You had some data that talked about all these the sexual dysfunction, and I didn't get any statistical data there, and even potential death, and we don't get any examples there. So that sounds, like I said, kind of ambiguous there. The study that you finally cite does give us some information about sexual dysfunction. It's self-reported information about men who were sexually active prior to circumcision and then being circumcised. And I'd be interested in hearing the context of those decisions, because that's an interesting. I don't know if that's a cultural thing or what the heck is going on there. So that study sounds, though, like you've got good results there that will support that point. That is, of course, the one piece of data on that. The earlier information that you cited was, like I said, a little ambiguous. It was very conclusionary, and it comes from an expert. You do have an authority that you were citing, but what the basis of that authority's information was, I thought, was a little ambiguous. At the end of the speech, there is a summary of the speech and the ideas, which is a good thing because I think that makes your argument a little bit clearer. But you present it so tentatively that I think people are uncertain that you're done, and then you have to throw in the Porky Pig exit so just everybody is sure that you're done. So let's avoid doing that in the future. All right, thank you.